Hello boys, in this video I'm going to explain the general ledger of the combination exercise, starting with the opening balances that must be posted to the accounts. And the opening balances were given to you in this part of the information. Okay, so I'm going to do it one by one. The first account that you have is your capital account, which is an owner's equity account, and capital is the C of click. Therefore, the opening balance goes to the credit side. Please remember, with every opening balance, you must write April 2020, the first. And then for the balance sheet section, you will write balance brought down every single time. It's quite repetitive. Okay, then our next account, office furniture, is an asset account. Assets are the A of dead. Therefore, the opening balance goes to the plus side, which is the debit side. Then the next account, trading inventory, is also an asset that increases on the debit side, so the opening balance will go to the debit side. The next account, debtors control, is also an asset that increases on the debit side, so the opening balance will go to the debit side. And then your last balance sheet section account, bank, is also an asset that increases on the debit side. Remember, bank is one of those that can have an opening balance on the debit or the credit side, but in this case, I specifically indicated in the question that bank had a debit opening balance. Okay, then with the nominal section, it's more or less the same. You still have to write April 2020 the first with an opening balance, but in the details in the folio columns, you write something else. So let's look at sales. Sales is an income account, owner's equity income, which is the I of click. Therefore, the opening balance of sales will go to the credit side. And now if you look here, the details is total and the folio is brought forward, because in the nominal section, we don't balance accounts. We only total them and then we bring this total forward every single month. Okay, so cost of sales is an expense account. Expenses are the E of dead, that's why the opening balance is on the debit side. Rent income is an income account, it's in the name, so the opening balance goes to the credit side because it's the I of click. Telephone is an expense account, once again it goes to the debit side. Stationery is also an expense account, so the opening balance goes to the debit side. And then lastly, repairs is also an expense account, so the opening balance goes to the debit side. I hope that you've noticed that this is very repetitive and it might seem annoying to write April 2020 the first total brought forward every single time, but it's easy marks for you to score. Okay, now after you've posted your opening balances, you should start posting your journals. I always have a little routine when I post my journals, and the reason why I do it like this is so that I don't forget anything, or so that I don't make mistakes with the dates of the amounts that I'm posting. Okay, so I always start with the first journal of the question. In this case, it was the debtors journal, and then I go column by column. Now, first we have to post the sales column, which has a total of 5,740 Rand, and this sales column goes to two places. It goes to the debit side of debtors control and it goes to the credit side of sales. Okay, so in debtors control, on the debit side, why on the debit side? Because the amount that the people owe us now increased because we sold more stuff to them on credit. Okay, you will write on the 30th, sales in the DJ 5,740. The reason why it's on the 30th is because it's a column total, which must be posted at the end of the month. And the reason why the details is sales is because the other account that is affected by this amount is the sales account. And remember, because we're working with the DJ, you write DJ. Then in the sales account on the credit side, you will write the 30th, because once again, it's a column total. Debtors control DJ 5,740 Rand. It just means that the other leg of this transaction or of this amount is in debtors control on the opposite side. Then the next column that we have to post is this cost of sales column. And this cost of sales column, like the one in the CRJ, goes to cost of sales on the debit side and trading inventory on the credit side. So in cost of sales, you will write the 30th because it's a column total. The contra account is trading inventory, and we are working in the DJ at the moment, 4,100 Rand. And in trading inventory on the credit side, you will write April 2020. Please remember to write this again when you start working on a new side of an account. The 30th cost of sales, because that's the contra account. The amount comes from the DJ, 4,100 Rand. Now that we are done posting the DJ, we can start posting the CRJ. And remember, the CRJ's posting rule is that every single amount goes to bank and it goes to some or other account. Okay, so this value, the total of the bank column, actually equals the sum of all of the other values except cost of sales, okay, in the CRJ. And in the CRJ, our bank increases. So the bank value will go to the debit side of bank, and then all of the other accounts must be credited because they all total to this big debit. And for every debit, there's a credit. Okay, remember that. Then my little routine is I always start with sundry accounts first because they must be posted on the date of the actual transaction. And then I end with the column totals, which are posted at the end of the month. So the first one I'm going to post is this capital amount that we received on the 1st of the month. It will go to the credit side of capital. The contra account is bank because the money that we receive for capital will go to our bank. In the CRJ, 800,000 Rand. And you would notice I didn't write a date because it's still on the 1st of the month. The next value that I'll post is this rent income value of 9,000 Rand that we received on the 15th. It will go to the rent income account on the credit side because bank is debited and everything else is credited. And the date of the transaction is the 15th. You will write bank because in the CRJ and bank we write total receipts, and in every other account we write bank. Then I can start posting my column totals. The first column total that will be posted at the end of the month is the bank one. This will go to the debit side of bank and we will write total receipts. On the 30th. Then the next column that I will post is the sales column. This 27,790 will go to the credit side of sales and I will write bank. Okay, so the reason why I didn't write a date here is because the previous entry was already made on the 30th and we are still on the 30th, so no need to write 30 again. You can if you want to. In this case, the contra account is bank, CRJ, and that was the value. The next column that I need to post is the cost of sales column. Now remember, this is the exception to the CRJ rule because the cost of sales value is not recorded in bank. So this value must go to two places. It's the only value in the CRJ that we take to two accounts. It goes to the debit side of cost of sales and the credit side of trading inventory. In cost of sales, you will write trading inventory, but now be careful, we are in the CRJ, not in the DJ. And it's still on the 30th, so you don't have to write 30 again. In trading inventory, on the credit side, you will write cost of sales, and it's also still on the 30th. So you would notice that these two cost of sales columns, the one from the DJ and the one from the CRJ, are always posted to the same side. The only difference is the journal and the amount. Then the last CRJ column that we need to post is the debtors control column. This will go to the credit side of debtors control because remember in the CRJ bank is debited, everything else is credited. So it will look like this. You have to write April 2020 again. The contra account is bank. It's in the CRJ. The reason why it goes to the side where debtors control decrease is because, remember, debtors control means that people owe us money, and in this case they are actually paying us back. We are receiving money from them, so they owe us less money. It goes to the side where debtors control decrease. Now the last journal that we need to post is CPJ, and I'm going to start with the sundry account section. So I'll post this amount to telephone on the 17th. The CPJ rule for posting is that bank will now be credited because we will lose money, and because every amount goes to bank and somewhere else, all of the other accounts will be debited, because for every credit there's a debit. You will write the 17th, bank, CPJ, and the value. Then office furniture will be posted on the 26th. Once again, it will go to the debit side, and you will write bank. Just like that. Then the next transaction was for repairs on the 28th. It's the last sundry accounts transaction. It goes to the debit side of repairs, and you still write bank, CPJ. Now we can start posting the columns of the CPJ. So the first column we need to post is the bank total. Sorry, that shouldn't happen. Okay, so the first column we need to post is the bank total. This 31,900 will go to the credit side of bank, and you will write total payments. Remember to write April 2020 again when you work on a new side of an account. Then the next column is trading inventory. That will go to the debit side of trading inventory, because bank is credited, everything else is debited. Okay, so it goes here. Please do not write cost of sales as the contra account, because in fact we are not making any sale, so cost of sales is not affected. In this case, we are just buying trading inventory, and we get the money from our bank in the CPJ. And then lastly, the stationery column will go to the debit side of stationery. Also on the 30th, and you will write bank, CPJ. Now, right at the end, you're not done yet. You need to quickly total your accounts or balance your accounts, depending on the transactions in each account. If an account has entries only on the one side, we total it. So in this case, with capital, you will add these two values together, and you will get a total of 875,000 Rand. The same with office furniture, it only has entries on one side, so you can add these two values together and get a total of 8,400 Rand. However, if an account has entries on both sides, then you have to balance it, like the next three accounts. What do? You add the biggest side together, which is usually the side where the account increases. So you say the total of these two values is 58,500, but you have to write that value in both of the double lines. Then on the smaller side, you say 58,500 minus 19,850 minus 4,100. In other words, you get the difference between this amount and these two amounts, giving you 34,550. And this is the balance that you will carry down to the next month. You will carry this balance down below the double lines on the opposite side, saying when May starts, our opening balance for trading inventory is 34,550 Rand. The same with debtors control, so you add these two values together, you write the total in both double lines. On the smaller side, you say this value minus this value gives you 4,640. This is the balance that you will carry down to May on the opposite side. So on the 1st of May, the balance that you've brought down is 4,640. And then the same with bank. You add these two values together to get 885,070 Rand. You write that value in both double lines. On the smaller side, you say this value minus this value gives you 853,170, which is the balance that you will carry down to the opposite side on the 1st of May, like that. In the nominal account section, we only total accounts because they only have entries on one side. So you add these three values together and it gives you 89,530. In cost of sales, you add these three values together, which gives you 63,950. In rent income, you add these two values together, giving you 36,000. In telephone, you add these two values together, giving you 8,400. In stationery, you add these two values together, giving you 340 Rand. And in repairs, you add these two values together, giving you 2,610 Rand. As easy as that.